This is why I'm in charge. I make sure we're on time because now we're officially 1 minute late. Thanks to Gabe.
Well, we were both here.
We were here.
We were here.
You just wouldn't shut up.
Yeah.
But such is life. As always, this is not as always. This is episode 29 of Flippin' 10. As always, I'm Jake.
And I'm Gabe.
And we are excited to be back for another one. Today we will be joined by Mr. Devin Welch. He works for, well, I'll let you do the introduction, Gabe. You set this one up.
Yeah. So Devin's a good buddy of mine, and he works for the Florida State Park Service in invasive removals, as well as working part-time at the Everglades Holiday Park. And so he does a lot of other work around Florida with a lot of different other conservation organizations as well. So he does a lot of different conservation work within Florida. So really great guy. Check him out on his socials if you get a chance.
And we will have him shout all those out towards the end of the episode so people know where they can contact him, find him, see all the stuff. But yeah, so with that, as y'all can tell, Sky is not here right now. He will be coming. He's just going to be a little late because he got held up at work. So instead of doing write-ins at the end, we're going to go ahead and do them first. So we're going to jump into that. Devin needs to get sorted. He looks like he's in the field right now. So he's getting situated over there with some good cell service. So we're going to jump into some write-ins first and foremost. First off, we have Mr. Bryant McDowell or Don Bond Jr. on Instagram. And he says, first off, I'm so impressed and proud of you hiking up your SE Lifer EDB, Jake. Shout out to Gabe and Jack as well for being there for that. That critter was glowing from the pics y'all shared. I'll hit y'all with some serendipitous spring day my friend Johnny and I had last year in April. It was a nice, warm, overcast day, and due to our busy life schedules, this was both of our first proper herping of the year, and boy, was it a good one. I had scouted an area beforehand years prior in upland prairie habitat, or hill prairies, as we call them in the Midwest. It had all right promises of seeing drier habitat-associated herps like bull snakes, hognoses, and one in particular that Johnny and I found before, but never managed to get hands-on with. 20 minutes in the preserve, and Johnny makes a dive in a patch of forbs at what we first thought was a snake, but that all changed as soon as Johnny had a proper look at it. He had done it. He grabbed our first in-hand view of a western slender glass lizard, our main target for that area. It had been years up until that point since we've seen one. We also spotted a gray/midland rat snake in a tree, which is a rare find for the county and weird to find them in xeric settings. After letting the rat snake go, I walked down to a steep hillside chatting with Johnny and such. After not seeing much at lower elevations, I start heading back up. I then had an inkling feeling to just look down by my feet, and what was just inches from me blew me away. And I will get to that. That's the rat snake they found. And I don't know if y'all can see that. But this is a beautiful hognose. Hognoses are special snakes to me and tough to find, but what made this stud muffin unique was his phenotype. There's almost little to no photo records of an eastern hog with an orange phenotype in Illinois. So to randomly find it like we did was stellar. They're usually gray, brown, yellow out here. We found a few more glass lizards and racers, but our day was above and beyond made with these finds. Yeah, that's a freaking stunning hognose, man.
Dude, that is absolutely beautiful, man. I love those high orange and high red hogs.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Gabe, have you ever found an eastern that wasn't melanistic?
No, I have never. I mean, when they're babies, they still have pattern and stuff.
Yeah, they're like they look more annery like than anything.
But they age out, and sometimes they'll have a little reddish tinge, but it's very faint. But all of them around me age out to be melanistic. So I've never found like a true adult wild patterned one. Every adult I've ever found is melanistic.
Same. I know you can find them in our area that aren't melanistic
Yeah,
and just
I've had it.
not very prevalent.
Yeah, well, throughout most of the coastal plain in South Carolina, they're mostly all melanistic. You've got a few pockets here and there along the coast where, a lot of times island pockets and stuff where they're a little bit brighter colored, but overall, yeah, most of them are melanistic.
Yeah, for sure. But finding one like this would be freaking awesome,
A
man.
dream.
That thing's gorgeous.
I just, in my personal opinion, I enjoy the Eastern hognoses way more than the Westerns. Like they're just,
Yeah,
they just look cooler.
yeah, for sure. I'm right there with you. But thank you, Bryant, for the awesome write in. And congratulations on y'all having an awesome day last year. Keep up a good herping, man. Next up, this is part 1 from Pinelands Reptilia on Instagram. He said, "What's up, gents? I found some awesome herps. I've been working and beat popping around my property lately. There's a gopher frog, pine woods, tree frog, squirrel tree frog, narrowmouth toad, southern toad, gopher tortoise, striped mud turtle, and an adult and hatchling scarlet king snake." Oh, this says scarlet snake. That's a scarlet king. No, that is a scarlet snake.
Zoom in on the head.
Yeah, that's a scarlet. You can see on the sides right there. Yeah. I just assumed because I looked at the picture for a second, but yeah, that's a pretty toad, man. Oh, there's the narrowmouth.
Yeah, look at a little narrowmouth toad.
Yeah, squirrel tree frog, right?
Is
that what that is?
I can't zoom in. Yeah, that's a squirrel.
Yeah, he said squirrel. I was just making sure that was the right one. I still need to get better at my frogs, man. Good old gopher tortoise.
Oh, green tree frog.
Classic green. Homie looks a little dry.
Yeah, he does.
That's all right. Another scarlet snake. Oh, that one's cool with the circle right there.
That's the little bit of aberrancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, striped mud turtle. Yep. Or, striped musk turtle. That's cool.
Yep. Thank you very much, Pinelands Reptilia. Check him out on Instagram. Doing some awesome stuff. Like I said, that is part 1. He did send some more pictures afterwards. Next is from Chris with Reptiles and Oddities. He says, "Hot damn, I finally got to drive down my favorite road, and look here what I found. A little penny. I don't know what the penny means. A little penny ribbon, male and female Texas brown tarantulas, and last a musk turtle." Those tarantulas are nuts, though.
That's so cool.
Ugh. I'm good on that.
What? Nah, tarantulas are cool, man.
Yeah, they're cool. They're cool at everybody else's house. Awesome finds, Chris. Again, that's Chris with Reptiles and Oddities. Check him out. Next, we have Zach with Queen City Constrictors. He was herping with Devin over in New Hampshire, and they came in with some heat. Let's see.
Oh, man.
Let's see. Where is he at? Why can't I find? Oh, he's at the top. All right. He said, "Writing in now because I'm watching last week's episode and feeling inspired." He said, "Lifer ribbon, lifer spotted turtle, lifer Blandings turtle, Massachusetts Northern Racers, ribbons, double milk flip." Devin's got a habit for those double milk flips, man.
Dude, Devin's got the spots for the milk.
Yeah, he's got it. Double milk flip, behemoth northern water snake, all on a herping trip with Devin that includes Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts. Yeah, Devin's got it figured out there, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at the sundews.
Oh, yeah. Those are gorgeous. He finds so many turtles, too, man. Like,
dude, he's killing it on turtles.
Yeah, Devin's just killing it. And obviously, Zach, you are as well. Like with these, because and their ribbon snakes are also incredible out there, dude.
Oh, they're so much prettier.
They blow ours out of the water without question. Oh Oh, diesel. Northern. They have some really pretty northern waters out there too.
Yeah, they do.
I like that picture right there. That's a good one.
I love the red that those northerns get on them. It's so
Yeah. Yeah, they're big, beefy, and red. It's awesome. They're black racers or they're racers. I guess I don't know. Yeah. Northern racers, black racers,
they'd be northern black racers. Yeah.
northern black racers. Very blue
Oh yeah.
compared to ours, which is awesome. I don't care what anybody says. I love a black racer. This is his daughter. Oh, there's a spotted.
Oh, that's an old spotted too. Look,
Yeah, I was about to say that thing looks freaking old, man.
I mean, that thing's gotta be ancient.
That dude's
It's crazy how many spots that one has on it. I feel like all the ones I find down here are like they're spotted, but they're not as cluttered as the spots on this one.
That dude's been through it. Let's zoom in on that guy a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can see how worn down that shell is.
Oh yeah.
That's an old turtle.
Good for him. That's what we want. Pass those genes on, Bubba. Lighten him up.
You can see that little back tooth in that photo if you go back.
Yeah.
Right there in the middle.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Chomping down. You end up like Harry getting chewed on by a garter snake. Did you know that? Did you hear the story behind that?
I think I saw the picture. I never heard
this. Harry's already got a fucked up thumb. We call it his dog thumb. And he got chewed on by a garter snake, and that thing swelled up and was turning purple.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad.
I had a buddy of mine like
we tell him a garter snake almost put him in the dirt.
Dude, I got a buddy of mine from back in the day that was the same way. Like he would not pick him up. He's like, if it bites me, I am potentially going to anaphylaxis. Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. And this is his daughter, Ailey, trying to hold a milk snake Devin and him found. She is 2 years old. So awesome find, Zach. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We also have a write-in from Devin that we will get to here shortly. Next up, we have Taven Wright, who has also been absolutely destroying it. I cannot tell where he lives. I know he may have told us, but I can't remember because he sent us stuff from like Arizona and stuff, but it's also been like this stuff is more not so much that way, but awesome nonetheless. This is Taven Wright. He is Lizards and Shit on Instagram, so check him out. He says, haven't been able to get out very much over the past month, but I still have found a couple goodies. I have a countless amount of Italian wall lizards in my yard, so that's cool, consistent herp I see on the daily. And whenever I drop my girl off at work at the lake, I try to find some stuff around there. It only proves fruitful about 25% of the time, though, but still got a nice ringneck and a narrow mouth toad on a morning trip, and an unfortunate DOR western rat on my way to pick her up. While working, I came across some freshly morphed cricket frogs that still had their little butt wieners and some type of triopods, tadpole shrimp, in a quarter-mile ditch along a railroad, which was a first for me, so I was pretty stoked. Then last night, me and a buddy went out road cruising on a full moon and got a couple copperheads of different sizes and road cruised a milk snake at 9 p.m. at about 70 to 75 degrees. All in all, I haven't been super active, but still I've got some cool stuff.
Dude, the fact that he cruised that on a full moon is impressive because most of the time, full moons, I don't even bother going out.
Yeah, I was about to go out the other night. Conditions were pretty good. But I saw it was a full moon, and I was like, dude, I'm not even gonna waste my time.
If that moon's big and full, or even like partially full and really bright, I never have luck unless I'm looking for amphibians.
There it is.
Oh, look at it.
That thing's pretty too, man. Jeez. It's always funny seeing them in that stage of like they're grown, but they still got that little tail.
I love when they look like the little pollywogs. They're great.
Yeah. ringneck. Their ringnecks out there are so nice.
Oh
too.
yeah, he's got to be in like Kansas, right?
Something. I think he might actually be. Yeah, it's somewhere like that. Taven, let us know where you're at, man. So I'm curious. I might have to make a trip. There we go. These are killer. Anybody who's just listening on the audio when this comes out, I apologize. We're just kind of clicking through. This is a beautiful Western rat snake I saw on my way to pick up my girl from work. So he's got to be, obviously, he's west of the Mississippi, finding Western rats out there. So, yeah.
Kansas is a really cool
Kansas
state.
is a great herping state, dude.
Overlap of like the west side, like the western stuff and the eastern stuff. You just get that kind of perfect little overlap.
Hey, Gabe, what's that?
I don't know. I've never seen one of those before.
Yeah, because you're garbage. You're trash. You can't even herp.
It looks kind of brown.
But very cool. Thank you so much, Taven, for writing into us again. You are absolutely killing it this year. Keep up the good work. Next is Wild World of Deming coming in with one picture, but a picture speaks 1,000 words in this.
Holy
game.
smokes! You know what that legit reminds me of? The lines that the light cycles from Tron leave behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that is just electric blue. Oh my god.
He says, and again, this is Wild World Deming. He says, beam me up, herpers. Today I am sending you a panty dropper of a snake. This is a turquoise garter snake up here in Washington. I've been looking for the snake since I've been writing in because it's just such a beautiful snake. We used to have hundreds of them out where I live, but a couple of years ago, there was a really bad cold snap, and I believe that killed most of them off, or their colors might have killed them off as well because it's very bright blue. Hope you guys are as wet as a water park looking at how beautiful this snake is. Tell Gabe he can use this as his background picture on his phone since he doesn't have a picture of a decay snake. Much love to you, fine gentlemen, and good luck to all the herpers. That thing's freaking incredible, man.
That's beautiful. Like I got to go change my drawers. I'll be back. I mean, that
thing's insane.
Oh, God,
but
so blue.
Hope you find some more, man. Definitely keep all the good stuff coming. Next is a whirlwind of pictures from Devin. Devin is always kind of short with his write-ins, but so we're just gonna kind of click. He says this was from last week. I actually didn't share some of these from 2 weeks ago because he sent them in a little too late for me. But he says 14 musks in like 15 minutes.
Hey, don't let Jack see that. He might have a stroke.
Yeah, Jack's gonna lose it. Then he says, had fun moving turtles out of the road with Zach today, even though his BMW hates him. And then there's a few more things from Maine and New Hampshire. That's a Blandings, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez.
Oh, God, look at their painted turtles. That's so pretty.
Yeah. And he says, have fun with all that. I've been killing it. Yes, very obviously, Devin. Thank you for pointing that out. I love that picture.
That's a beautiful pic.
Yeah.
Like a wallpaper. Oh, man.
All these milk snakes, man. He has found so many milk snakes this year. It's ridiculous. Oh, that's beautiful. Hey, we found one of those.
Hey, look at that.
Golly.
He's just absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, dude. He's freaking killing it. I've never had like New Hampshire in that area as like a destination spot to herp, but sign me up. We need to go visit Devin.
Hey, man, finding any of those species right there would be a blast.
Yeah. Then he says, stuff I found with Zach and a few from later. We hurt Maine, New Hampshire, and Massachusetts and killed it. Of course you did. You always do, Devin. Little motherfucker, you.
Hey, I'm just glad Devin don't live closer to me. He'd make me have to put the work in to keep my numbers up.
Yeah, he'd make you look silly. He's making you look silly from New Hampshire, and that says something.
Oh, he is. He is. I ain't been finding nothing lately.
Well, that's everything from Devin. Thank you again, man. And I'd say keep killing it, but I know you're going to. So fuck you, I guess. No. And then last but not least, part 2 from Pinelands Reptilia. He just says a few more finds. Sadly, a DOR mud. You might not share that up to you all. That doesn't bother me. We know how DORs go around here. That corn, dude.
Man, look at that.
I think he's a freaking smoker.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's good looking. And the unfortunate DOR mud.
Oh, yeah. But the plus side is that's a sign that they're moving in that area.
You know they're there. I always stop for DORs no matter what, man. There's stuff I see on the road that I know is dead, but I get out and look at it just in case because it gives you a good indication of what's there,
I also like
times
I like to move them off the road if I
get Yeah, I do too.
Just because, it can bring mortality from other species that would feed on the carrion.
Yeah.
Takes a couple seconds.
Yeah.
Be good for nature.
For sure. Well, with that is all of our write-ins for the night. Looks like we got a couple more people in the chat. But thank y'all so much for writing in. Please keep them coming. And we did get an update from Sky. He looks like he might be a little later than he initially thought, but he will be here. But with that, let's get into our actual episode tonight and introduce Mr. Devin.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Thank you for being patient with us while we went through those.
Yeah, no, I was trying not to. It was a crazy lady stopped. It was chit chatting. I was like, I gotta go. She was riding down the road on her little e-bike, and I'm free, like perfect timing. She gave me her phone number on a lottery ticket.
There you go. Is it a winning lottery ticket at least? Jeez.
Nope.
No, that's unfortunate. But how's it going, man?
Good. How are you guys doing? I'm awesome.
Pretty good.
Doing good, man.
I think I actually, so now that I've seen you, I think I met you at Daytona last year, did I not?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you showed up.
Sat down for a few minutes.
Yeah. Cool. Very good, man. Well, if you kind of just want to jump in and give us a rundown about you and who you are, what you do, and background a little bit.
Yeah, I'll try to do the quick version. I'm a wildlife biologist. I got my degree in 2021. Kind of started working with things in 2018. I got involved with hellbender work and did that every summer until 2021. Late 2021, I got involved with ARC. That's how I met Gabe. I went into Francis Marion National Forest and started working with their diamondbacks and spotted turtles and gopher frogs and a whole list of other things I was looking for out there. I got 2 pine snakes in 1 week. Unfortunately, one was DOR. And a lot of things. I checked a lot of the snakes off that list just being in South Carolina for that 2 weeks because I was living in my car and I didn't come out of the forest at all. And so I was going everywhere, seeing a lot of things. Nice. Stayed with ARC for that year. I think I did 2020. I volunteered 2021. I worked with them 2022. I got a job in South Carolina just because I wanted to be in the area and kind of stay involved with them. And so I'd volunteer with them through 2022. I was a summer camp coordinator, so I worked with kids and did mostly marine science stuff, but I introduced them to all the creepy crawlies, spiders and snakes and whatnot too, because I have to. And then 2023, 2024, I worked with ARC in Florida, working with flatwood salamanders, doing a lot of really cool stuff through that. Got involved started a new project. Kind of, it flew and then it kind of stopped flying. It didn't necessarily crash, but it didn't do too much. But that was with Barber's map turtles and a new river shed that they haven't really been documented too extensively in. And then that was 2024. Halfway through 2024, I switched over and got involved with alligator wrestling. I don't know. It's just a thing that you do. It's at a point in your life. So I had an early, a quarter life crisis, I guess you could say, and I got involved in alligator wrestling. So I'm in Miami on my weekends now. Currently, I'm involved in. I'm doing that on my weekends, and during my week, that's my side gig. My actual job is invasive species monitoring in the Keys. I work in throughout a lot of the Keys. I kind of just travel up and down and stop at different places, natural areas, WEAs, wildlife environmental areas and stuff, and then just go out there and see what kind of invasives are out there. And some of them, unfortunately, I have to remove, but it's part of the job. It's better for the environment that way.
Yeah, it's the whole invasive thing in Florida, man. It's like, you know, it's cool in the sense for a herper of like you can go somewhere in the state and see stuff that you won't see anywhere else in the US, and like it's neat, but at the same time it's like very sad and upsetting that you have to see them there, you know? Like it's I don't know, it's a very sharp double-edged sword.
A lot of people talk about invasives and just in general about how bad things are in the U.S. And I'm like, well, a lot of it's kind of bad for, it's not even just reptiles, but like plants and stuff like that. There's a lot of
Yeah.
species throughout the entire U.S. that are invasive.
Yeah.
But there's nowhere that I've given up on except South Florida. At this point, it's like it's just a safari. Come down here and see cool stuff, and it's like who cares what's out there now? There's no bringing it back. There's so many things out here, and I like seeing them. I don't like having to kill iguanas. The only thing that I have to kill is iguanas, and I do. But everything else, I'm just like, it's cool to see. Let it, see it, get up close. Don't mess with it too much because if I touch it, technically I can't put it back, and so I don't touch them.
Right. Yeah, that's the big thing, man. And I don't know. We have a question in the chat. He had our buddy Tyson Dallas. He did one of the ride-ins with the Pinelands Rotilia. He said, "Are you doing that for FWC?" My friend David used to do that in the Keys.
Technically, no. My company, I work for technically a pest control company, but the only thing that I do is the iguana thing through them. It's like a small branch, and they are contracted through FWC. So it is through FWC, but I don't work for FWC. I don't have to.
You're a contractor.
Follow their rules.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, it's one of those things. That's a conversation I have with a lot of people because, like, I feel like with the invasives, like a lot of people are like taking it like way too far with how like a lot of the rednecks out there just taking it a little too far and almost torturing these things. And I'm like, dude, like we're at a point now to where it's like there's really no going back. Like I hate to put it that way, but it's just true. Like there's some things like that. I don't care how many contractors you are, how many iguanas you torture. It's like I understand putting them down because you have to, but it's like how about we be civilized people about it, you know? And
no, the people that are torturing invasives are the people that are torturing anything. They're just having fun doing that stuff. I went through a lot of trying to justify taking this position just because I was like, I'm killing lizards. Like I'm a herpetologist, at heart.
Right.
I'm going out there to kill lizards. How much do I really want to do this? But a big part of it is like, well, yeah, they are like the ones in the city, the ones running around Miami. They can keep tearing up people's houses. They can keep eating their plants. I don't care about them. They can keep doing all the damage that they want. But I'm in natural areas. I'm in places that they're trying to preserve. And so like just down the road from where I'm at now, there's you can see the erosion that they're causing. It's just a steep bank of sand, and their holes just like Swiss cheese all over the place, and it's just taking it back and like you can see the active erosion. So like that's one thing. It's like the environmental impact, but it's like again, it's who else would be doing this job if I'm not? And I got taught by people that were like, oh, just shoot them in the belly, and when they drop, you can try to kill them. And I'm like, well, no, if I can just get a kill shot from the jump, I'll just do that and not have to, half the time these things they're hard to kill. You shoot them and they, I've seen other people do it and they run into the bushes and they're gone. It's like maybe they die that day, maybe they don't die for another 2 weeks, maybe they survive. It's like if the job is going to be done, I like to be as quick as possible.
Yeah, I was the same way. Obviously, it wasn't iguanas, but I did a lot of trapping here for varmints. From the I worked at a plantation for my internship in college, and that was like my main thing was trapping armadillos. And everybody was like, man, fuck them armadillos, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, I take them out quick and swiftly. Like, we don't, it's not fun, dude. Like, I don't take joy in doing this, I don't know. It's a hard job. So I respect you a lot for doing it because I can only imagine.
Appreciate it.
It's very difficult having to do that as a herp and animal lover in general, but it's somebody's got to do it, and I'd rather have somebody who cares.
I will say they don't taste bad.
Yeah. That is the one thing is I like to, where I can, I like to use, and like I grew up hunting, and so like it's not too far fetched from me anyway. I've never hunted reptiles, but now, I mean, not in this sense, but if I use whatever I can as often as I can. So I brought some lizard leg and tail meat up to Gabe, and we had a little romantic little dinner once, and it's pretty good.
Nice. The romantic dinner in the Francis Marion. I love it. That's awesome.
No, I try to skin them all too, and so like I haven't figured out a use for them yet, but I've got them ready to go. So if anybody on here wants to, figure out how to make them into wallets or do whatever, I'm like, rather than just killing, because when I was given this job, they were like, just kill them and take them out of the park, and then it doesn't matter what you do with them. I'm like, well, I'm not just gonna throw them in the trash. Like a lot of people before me were just throwing them in the trash. I was like, well, let me do something with it. And so
you need to get sausage casing and start grinding that iguana up and making like your own lizard-based repti links, man.
Like, I'll keep that in mind. I've heard they make good lobster bait, so I'm talking to some bait shops too.
There you go. That would be good. And that's like that hunter mentality of like, if you're gonna kill it, like use it for good. That was a big thing with my dad. I grew up hunting. I don't do it so much anymore. I'm more of a fisherman now. That was one thing my dad always told me. He goes, I better not catch you killing stuff just to kill it. Because you kill it, I don't care what it is, you're going to eat it. And I was like,
hey, I respect that a lot.
Yeah, that was really big on my dad's part. But getting back into you, can you tell us a little bit about like how you got into this? Were you the classic kid who loved dinosaurs and grew up catching toads in the backyard, or how'd you get into reptiles in general?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think my first ever memory, like if I think back, the first thing that comes to mind is like catching a bullfrog and a grasshopper. And I don't know why, but that's like when I picture my childhood, it's like I'm in a field and I think it was Alabama, and it was like visiting family as like a 3-year-old maybe, and that's what I did. And that was the first thing I ever did. But now growing up, I was told to stay away from things a lot. I'd get my joy in lifting rocks up in Pennsylvania, and up in Pennsylvania, there's only timber, rattlesnakes, and copperheads, but every snake you see is a venomous one to everybody, according to everybody up there. And so they were afraid of everything. I was always flipping rocks to look for salamanders. I just always was like, oh, I want to see. I never got my fill of redback for some reason. And then I grew up and I was like, but no, I went back to Pennsylvania and was like, oh, I just want to see a redback. It's the only thing I haven't seen in so long. It's my childhood animal right there. But no, as a young kid, I'd flip rocks, catch salamanders, redback, sometimes spotted salamanders, and every once in a while I'd get a garter snake. And first couple times my family saw it, they were not having it. They took it away from me and did what they did with it, and that was kind of the mentality that I grew up in. And so eventually I learned to not let them see that I had it and just kind of keep it over here and play with it for a few hours. And usually, I definitely couldn't get away with taking it home, and so I'd end up letting it go later that day. And so that's what it was at first. For a while, was kind of doing things secretly away from everybody, and then it turned into, hey, this is my job now, Mom. I'm going out to look for snakes and play with big salamanders and flip rocks for my job. I think there was definitely a point in, I'd say third grade, fourth grade, that I told myself I was going to be a paleontologist, but it wasn't for dinosaurs. It was just like I liked rocks. I liked rocks. Yeah. The guy that that meme from 2 years ago, that was me for sure. Yeah, I loved rocks. I liked finding. There's not much in Pennsylvania. There's a lot of shell fossils, a couple of plant fossils. You can find trilobites, and I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found the good places. But I always came across the brachiopods and stuff like that. Just like little things, but they always excited me. And so I thought I was going to go into that.
It's no wonder you and Gabe are friends.
Yo, Devin helped me get that fossilized sea turtle shell out.
Oh, okay, cool.
sat
Yeah.
Doug with him for a while for that.
Oh man, that was like multiple days.
I'm sure he didn't let you leave either. I was like, no.
What do you mean? I left. Devin stayed.
Oh.
Yeah. Actually, I'm worse than him. Believe it or not. He
worse.
was like, dude, I gotta go. I think it was cold that day.
It was
He was
ice
cold.
building up
I
in my
remember it.
shovel. And Devin's in like a short sleeve shirt and a light coat, and he's down there digging, and he's like, "All right, man, I'll see you tomorrow." I'm like, "Devin, it's like 1 a.m. and it's like 28 degrees." He's like, "I feel fine down here."
Yeah,
like,
Devin's over here
in
like,
a
okay, fucking pussy. Like, I'm just gonna keep going.
I created a little geothermal vent. I was using the Earth's heat to keep going to that night.
He had just dug this little pocket down where we were digging the shell out. And he was like, "It's pretty toasty down here." I'm like, "Well, I'm not crawling down there with you. I'm going home."
Jeez.
I'll give it to him. When I stood up, I was like, "Oh, now I can see why I got
It's cold.
little pokies."
Yeah.
Showing.
Oh yeah, man. That's awesome.
Devin, do you remember the first or second? I think it was the first time I ever saw you in the forest.
Second time?
No, second time. So
Yeah.
I had met Devin one time briefly, and Ben and the other ARC members were like, "This is Devin. He'll be with us, interning with us." And the second time I meet this man, I am road cruising a road that we know pine snakes and stuff are on, and I have been up and down this road for like 4 hours, maybe closer to 5, and I'm doing my last pass. And as I'm coming out the head of this road, Devin's pulling in. He does one pass, turns around, pulls up next to me and goes, "Look what I just found." And he's got a pine snake in his hands. And I was like, immediately, I was like, "I don't know if I like this kid."
Something like that. It was something like that. I think I got a lot of snakes that 2 weeks. I'm trying to remember which one. I definitely got a dead pine snake with you. I'm going to get in trouble real quick. No, I'm not getting in trouble. The people that work here, they expect me to be doing certain things, and so I thought he was going to come stop me, but no, my day's already over. We're good. He went the other way. But no, when I got in front of you, for sure, I thought you were going to go. I thought you.
Pine snake.
Yeah, I remember you were down the road from that because I caught it with Ben. Ben was like saw me catch it.
Yeah, I just left from Ben on the road and was like, "I'm going home. I've been out here for 4 hours." Yeah. And Devin comes down and just makes a pass, and I was like, he just eats a bowl of Lucky Charms every morning. Like,
I got
one of those like super lucky people that just like you just go and good things
he
happen.
has a straight up horseshoe up his butt. You hear me? The man's lucky.
I didn't do my homework at all before getting into I started herping before I knew anything about herps, and so my first trip to South Carolina, I didn't know anything about the species down there. On your road, Gabe, I picked up a dead pine snake, and I sent the picture to Ben. I was like, "Hey, does this happen to be what we're after? Because I think it's not anything else it should be. Is this it?" And he was like, "Dude, bring me that snake right now." I was like, "Okay, I'm coming."
Jeez,
but I thought what you were gonna say. The second time that we saw each other in the forest was when my car was in a hole.
Devin tried to take what was it? A minivan?
A mini,
take like a late 90s, early 2000s model Dodge minivan down literally a road that's so bad and muddied up and pothole ridden that the locals even tell you like, don't go down that road unless you got a jacked up 4x4.
The only road that had a road closed sign, and I went through. It looked like a meteor hit certain parts of the road, and I made it through like 2 or 3 of them, and then I got stuck in a puddle this big. My front tires got in it, and they sunk into some water, and then it was just
bottomed out
of mud. It was mud, and there was no traction. There was no getting out of there. I tried to dig it out, tried to vroom, 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 back and forth, and something snapped. I broke everything in that thing.
He broke his drive shaft.
I broke my drive shaft.
Hanging from under the van. This man and Ben had built and actually like literally brought logs up on the road and built like 2 or 3 log bridges.
Yeah, we did. Dude, we repaired that road better than Florida, better than South Carolina Doc could have ever done.
Oh, for sure. They don't do nothing.
Yeah, the road closed signs are just suggestions, honestly.
You would know, wouldn't you, Jake?
Yeah, no, we're not. We don't talk about that. That was bad. That was almost very bad.
You almost pulled a Devin.
Yeah,
Well, then,
except this was collapsed blacktop that for some reason I thought was water. Yeah, that was fun. Backed out of there real quick.
yeah, it was good though. I was lucky that I met you like the week before because I was like, I don't know anybody here but Ben. Ben was like, well, you know Gabe, right? And I was like, yeah, I could call Gabe. I was like, I don't really know Gabe that well yet, but I called you, and then you called your redneck friends, and everybody showed up with a big old lifted truck, tied that thing off. He pulled my minivan across probably like a 30-foot puddle of when we started building a road out of sticks. And he was just like, no, you don't have to worry about building anything else. Attached it, and he started driving, and we hit logs, and I swore they were going to come up through the floorboard. He just pulled me right through everything. I was worried, but we got through it, and
There you go.
got the car out to a main road and called a junkyard. Told him where it was. My parents came down from Pennsylvania, picked me up, put everything from my car in there. The junkyard showed up a day after we left and picked it up.
So we were
I never saw the minivan again.
We were going to be kind of gentle pulling it out, but when I looked down there to hook the chain up, I was like, Devin, your drive shaft is hanging like it's shot. Like,
Yeah,
and Devin was like, I got to get a new vehicle anyway. Just get it out of here.
There were ball bearings in the dirt.
Yeah.
Solid. Well, while we're talking about that, how'd you get linked up with ARC? And I know you touched on it a little bit with your background, but how'd you get linked up with ARC, and what exactly did you do with them?
I had kind of a professor that was better for connections than anything else. And so she came in a little bit later and decided to take a class field trip down to South Carolina, where she already knew like Jeff Holmes and Ben and a couple other ARC people. And so she was like, this is going to be one of our classes. It's a South Carolina herp class. And I was like, if anybody signed up for this class, it's going to be me. I came from a very small college, and I was the only actual herper. And so everybody else was more mammal based, or there was a couple bug and even plant people. But I was really the only one that was like focusing on going for herps. And so, signed up for the class, got out, took the class. It was spring break. It was actually kind of funny. It was spring break 2020. And so we showed up March, say 15th or so, spent the week in South Carolina getting to know, the lay of the land. Like I said, I didn't know what I was looking for. I was like, I know some rattlesnakes, I know copperheads, I know some of the snakes from back home, but I didn't know anything. I found a scarlet king snake, and I was like, well, it's got some red and it's got some yellow and it's got some black, so let me just not touch this real quick. And so that was my life. Right, I was walking across a down tree. Got off of it, and I was told, look under the bark. And so I got off this down tree that I just walked across, peeled some of the bark back, and out flipped this little Scarlet King, and it had his tail going. And I was like, this thing is already mad because I stepped on it, obviously, and I'm not gonna touch it. My professor came over, showed us, picked it up, showed everybody what it was, and at the end of the week, a couple crazy things happened. One, I was like, hey, I really want to stay involved. I talked to Ben, talked with Chris and Abby, Chrissy and Ab, who are, they're incredible people. But yeah, I was just like, I want to stay involved. What can I do? This or that. Got their contact and just kind of stayed involved that way, just through texting every once in a while. But then that was in 2020. That was a very important date, March 2020, because the end of our week in South Carolina was the very first day that COVID shut everything down, and so I got an extended spring break. It was I was like, hey, you guys are all getting a second week here, and we were all cool with it. We were like, oh, it's just a weird disease. This is the first time we've ever seen anything like this, but it shouldn't do anything. And then it was not that. It was never going back to school and having some crazy things happen. But so that was my involvement. That's how I got involved. The following year, my 2-week stay in the woods, I was like, hey, I know COVID's going on. My plans for work are being postponed, and so I have time. The Hellbender gig I was working at the time, they was still going to happen, but it was like, we're not starting in June anymore. We're going to start in July, and so I had all of June free. So I wanted to take a trip to South Carolina, get involved, and see what I could do with them. And I had a cousin that was going down anyway, so I just tagged along with him. We took 2 different cars, and so I came back later than he did. I came back later because my car broke there. But we went down. I got in touch with Ben. Was like, hey, I'm in town. What can I do? Is there any way I can help out? Is there anything I can volunteer with? And he said, officially, I can't give you anything because of COVID stuff, ARC's rules, everything going on. There's nothing we can really do, but there's a drift fence that you might be able to open up and go check out. And if you just happen to take this gear from me, you could go track some diamondbacks and stuff for us. And I was like, hey,
steal the stuff from ARC, it will be okay.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I went out and tracked their diamondback, Ruby Jean. I went out and opened up drift fences and drove around. And that's when I got the 2 pine snakes. I got a couple mud snakes,
You got
Scarlet
that
King,
Annery
Scarlets.
mud too.
Got the what?
You got that Annery mud right down the road from my house too that month.
Yeah,
I was so shitting. I've never found an Annery mud, and this joker comes back down for a month, finds one within 5 miles of my house, or maybe less, maybe 2, probably about 2 miles from my house. Sends me a picture. It's like, what's this? Like,
you really do have a horseshoe up your ass.
Okay, if you want to get into this story, because this is what I was saving. I don't know if it's I don't know. There's a handful of like really cool stories that I have, but I think my favorite herp story that was kind of like blows my mind that happened. I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes out here, so you're gonna see a lot of hands in this shot. But so that during that 2 weeks I was there, I was just stomping around the swamps and looking for whatever, like not super. I had an idea of a lot of things at that point, but I wasn't like super aware of everything out there. Got out there to a pretty wet spot, just like literally pulled over on the side of the highway. Got out there and was walking through, kind of following a creek. There was a lot of really wet floodplain around it though, and so I was walking through some
You're
pretty
right
squishy
by that
stuff.
beaver pond, right?
By the what?
You're by the beaver pond.
No, that wasn't over there.
No,
like you said, I was by your house.
No, not that beaver pond. The other one going towards.
Well, the other beaver pond, one of the 80 beaver ponds that live out there. Yeah.
It was only like 2 or 3.
Yeah, either way, was out there. I don't think I'd seen much in that spot prior to this, but it was like a log, and I was like, this looks perfect. There has to be something under here. And so I flipped it, and I was looking down there, like there was nothing down here. Like this should be the best spot. There's nothing there. And so I was going to put it back down because I didn't see anything. And as I was kind of almost there, I was like, wait, kind of picked it back up and looked a little closer, and I could see the scales, just a little, probably about that big, the scales sticking out of the mud, out of some stuff on the back of a mud snake. And at that point, the only thing that I've ever seen about mud snakes was because I had joined a Facebook ID page like a month before, and it was like, oh, just South Carolina herps, and so I joined it and was looking at them, and I was like, okay, this thing's got some very faint orange scales on its side. It's got a black back. It's kind of glossy. This pretty sure this is a mud snake. This has to be what I'm looking at. And so I took a picture of.
And never, you know how many muds I've found out here and never found an Annery? Like you should have gone and played the lotto right after that.
No. We're not there yet, Gabe. So I pulled this mud snake out. I took a picture of what I saw. Like I said, it was just like a couple of scales that I just happened to catch as I was putting the log back. Pulled this snake out, and it's a bright orange and black big mud snake. And I'd say it's probably pushing 4.5 feet or so like that. Big snake. I started looking close, started noticing features. It's got the flat head. It's got a really pointy tail. I was like, oh, just kind of in my head. When I see new creatures, new animals, I like identifying. I just like looking at their features and kind of seeing what makes them them. I love animal behavior, and so I was like, oh, if he has a flat head, he's a mud snake. Clearly, he uses that to kind of burrow around, and you could really see that just in the way he looked. But also the way he kind of moved around, he was always kind of just moving his head in certain ways. And so that was really cool. I spent a few minutes with him, pulled out a GoPro, and just kind of started recording a little bit. I can't talk to a camera, and so it's a really, really not great video. But I'm holding the snake for the video. And so I was like, okay, I got my fill. I saw the snake. I don't need to, do anything else with it. I don't need to mess with it anymore. I was going to put it back down, and out of the hole that I pulled that one out of pops up a white and black snake. And I was like, okay, this doesn't look like the snake I have in my hand. And it's not a king snake. I do know that one at this point. It's like, why is this mud snake looking thing got a white belly now? And so I was like, okay, is it a female? Is it a juvenile? Is it albino? Is it? I didn't know the terms, so I was like, I had very little service. I think I texted Ben and sat there with it for like 5 minutes. I was like, I don't think I have service enough for Ben to respond to a text, but I think I tried calling him and it didn't work. I think I had just enough that had like half a bar that I googled it and was like looking through stuff, and I was like, okay, anerytheristic snakes aren't the most uncommon thing. I didn't know. I still didn't know. I was like, oh, if they're like 30% of Florida's population in certain places. I was like, it's not that big of a deal. It's really cool to see. And took my pictures, put them down, and went on my way and talked to Gabe about it and talked to some other people. And they're like, yeah, like that. Why did you can't just double flip a normal mud snake and an anery mud snake and just walk away like it was nothing. I was like, I didn't know any better. Sorry.
You're not allowed to do that, especially when you're not even from here. That's just not okay.
It was just so
unacceptable.
disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like
how dare
I would
you,
go
first
back.
off.
I would go back and punch myself if I could go see myself again. Like I don't know. It's incredible. It's crazy the kind of stuff that I got myself into, which is kind of why I'm not super prepared for Belize, because I like to know what not to touch, and then I like to be surprised by everything else.
All right, Devin, I know what snakes not to touch there. For me, it's going to be the plants and the inverts. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm probably going to pick up some tarantulas while I'm in the jungle. And
Good.
like,
we're all going to be touching tarantulas.
And let's just hope I don't have a reaction to a bite. I think someone there's bringing.
Well, you're not going to get bit by a tarantula. Tarantulas don't bite unless you make them bite.
Well, listen, man, I got a few in this room that will absolutely disprove that theory.
Yeah, I believe that. That's different. Wild tarantulas, unless you bother them, unless you like really aggravate them, I feel like I've gotten
the general consensus, but there's always that one that's just ready to go.
And Gabe's gonna find that one up.
You look at them, you see what the animal behavior is like. Again, my favorite thing. So you watch them.
It's going to be me
let you know
on a tree and putting my hand on one, and it's going to happen.
Don't lean on a tree, Gabe. I think you'll be fine. Always watch where you're putting your feet and your hands.
That's right. That's right.
Very cool. Well, so obviously iguanas are the thing you remove the most as far as invasives. Well, they're pretty much the only thing you remove as far as invasives, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess with that in mind, what is some of the other most common invasives that you come across?
Okay.
Are out there?
Everybody's always talking about the pythons. I still have yet to come across my own python. I've seen one dead one on the side of the road. I think one of the questions that Gabe kind of prompted me with earlier was like, what's it like? How does it compare? How do the numbers compare to what's actually happening? Like people think that they're everywhere. They're really not. FWC, I think, just changed the rules on them, and so the FWC has a program for python removal, and then the Florida Water Management District has a program. And Florida just changed the rule. FWC just changed the rules to where you have to get 3 pythons every quarter, I think. And so there's gonna be a lot of people fired because most people are not seeing pythons, even if they're out there hunting for them all the time. They get lucky if they find a couple. They're gonna have to get 12 pythons a year, and those are just numbers that don't really happen. Like I think the estimate, the numbers, the average is like FWC hopes to get 1,000 a year, and there's like estimated 300,000 out there. And it's just like they're just not in the places that we look. Like they're not crossing the roads as often as you think. They're not in neighborhoods like you might think. They're like out in the swamp. They're out there where you can't even walk out there. You can't go out there and try to find them. You can, but getting them back out is going to be a lot harder than you think.
And I guess that's why I kind of wanted to get into that, because I am curious about other invasives you come across more commonly. But yeah, that was one of the questions I had. Was obviously I know this, and we all know this as herpers, but I feel like the general public, like because of the way it's talked about,
it's put in the headlines.
It's put in the headlines of like these things are everywhere. They're eating your dogs. They're eating your children. Like, lock your doors. They're going to kill you. Like, they're going to move up the coast and get into Georgia and South Carolina. I'm like, y'all have such a small understanding of what these things are doing. I have a buddy that's lived there for 20, 30 years and has never seen one. Herps the Glades, any chance he gets, he lives right there and he's never seen one. I'm like, y'all, it's not, I understand they, in the areas that they can be a problem for local wildlife, of course. And I'm not disregarding that, but the 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 thought of them being these horrible creatures that are killing everything in your backyards and they're going to move up the coast. I'm like, they've been in the Everglades for a very long time, and there's a reason they have only stayed in the Everglades. There's not another place in the US that mimics the Everglades. Like, it's just not going to happen.
I don't know if pythons they're definitely not solely to blame, but I think they might make up the biggest part of it. But I think there is like a decent shortage of mammals in the glades now, and I think that's
Yeah.
a thing. But that's like really, it's not backyard stuff. It's like, in the places that nothing else goes.
For sure.
They might be doing a job out there. But yeah, I mean, pythons are. I mean, like I said, I still haven't come across one.
Yeah.
Sky, what's up,
Guys
man?
here.
What's up, fellas? Sorry for being so late.
You're good, man. You came in at the perfect time. We're talking about how pythons in the Everglades aren't nearly as prominent as everybody thinks they are.
Oh, thank you. I am glad our guest agrees.
I think the point that you were making a second ago, though, boring stuff doesn't make the news, and so they gotta hype everything up. I work with alligators. I've worked with venomous snakes. I've worked with alligator snapping turtles. I worked with all these things and like handled. No spider. I'd love any spider I see. I like playing with. Like I've played with all the scariest things out here so far, and none of them hold any of the reputation that everybody thinks that they hold or that they say online. It's like always. It's there was an alligator attack. There was one, unfortunately, like a week and a half or a couple weeks ago.
Up in Kissimmee?
Yeah, in the state park. Other than that, like the last one was, I don't know how many years ago, but they talk about it every year, like it happens multiple times a year. It's like, no, it was an accident that happened a couple years ago. It's like there's as many people as there are walking around the wetlands and stuff, walking through the habitat that used to be this alligator's home. There's going to be some run-ins that don't go exactly in favor of the human, but it's like they don't really happen at all.
Let's be honest, attack is used with air quotes, like at least for us, because like we usually, here in me and Gabe's neck of the woods, alligators are everywhere. I mean, it's the same way in Florida. If there's a fresh body of water, there's going to be an alligator in it 9 times out of 10. And there's usually some dumbass, usually on a golf course or in a gated community, that's walking their little dog and this and that, and something happens. And it usually happens maybe once every few years, would you say, Gabe?
Yeah. I'd say
it's usually on Hilton Head by me.
Years.
Yeah.
It's normally in a neighborhood pond or a golf course pond surrounded by a neighborhood.
And it's either some idiot reaching in for their golf ball or some old lady walking their small dog. Don't get me wrong. I'm sorry you lost your dog, but also you moved here. Your Yankee ass moved here from Pennsylvania or New York or New Jersey or whatever it is. I'm not talking. That's why I said Pennsylvania. No, I didn't mean you specifically. I'm just saying in general. It's people Ohio. Like we get all kinds of people from Ohio from here. My goodness, I don't know why, but it's exactly. But it's like you moved here and you didn't listen to the locals that are like, hey, how about just don't do that? Yeah. Like your little dog is a snack. Like,
guys,
what do you expect it to do? It's
so at work. We have a couple nature trails where alligators nest on, and they're nesting on them right now. Like they just redid the nest and deposited the eggs. Mm-hmm. So I rope these trails off so no one can go down them because the nest is literally like a foot off the trail.
Yeah.
And I'm going back there checking to see if, she was hanging out around the nest. I like to keep an eye on them, keep tabs on them, check the, how many babies she had, etc. And so I'm going down there, and here comes 2 people bebopping past me. And I'm like, hey, did you guys see that barricade and rope? And they were like, oh, well, it was on the ground. And I'm like, no, it wasn't. And they're like, oh, well, why was it there? Oh, well, there's just alligators nesting behind me here, so I like to keep this trail closed during this time of year. And the look on their face, the wife went, oh, my God, we'll turn around right now. And I'm like, yeah, you dumbasses.
How about do that?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it's almost like disrespectful. Like, I understand, like, as far as crocodilians go, like, alligators are close to the bottom. Like, they're not. But that says even more. Ways. Yeah, if you get fucked up or killed by an alligator, I'm sorry, you will not convince me that that's not 100% your fault.
There's only ever been one case
that
I've ever heard where it truly wasn't the person's fault. Out of the 50 I've heard of in my lifetime.
Yeah. Every once in a while, there's mistaken identity. You got to think about like how the alligator is sitting in the water and how you look when you're swimming in the water. You're sitting in the water. It's only their eyes. Only their eyes are sticking out of the water, and so all they see is whatever's above the water when they're sitting in that position. If you're in dark water or if they're on the surface and you're swimming in water, all that we have sticking out of the water is our heads and some flaily little things. So we might look like a pretty injured duck or something like that. We look like something that looks like an easy meal because we're not very coordinated when we swim. So we look very easy from that perspective. And so they might approach us for that kind of sake. And if you don't see it coming, I've seen a pretty cool video, like probably one of the craziest videos I've ever seen, of somebody I know getting bit in the head by an alligator because they were swimming through water and the gator came up behind them where all the only thing sticking out of the water was his head. It bit him. He kind of got out of it, got out, and I'll leave it to that until he posts the video, but it's a pretty crazy video. But I mean, mistaken identity is a thing. Is if you're in the water and you're not paying attention to what's around you, then yeah, like there's a chance. Because like I said, we're too big. Us as a full human adult are too big for alligators. If they tried to bite us, if they tried to eat us, they understand to a point to that. If they bit us, it's not a one and done. They have to bite us and then fight with us, and they gotta
drag potentially us around us and then death roll us into chunks and then eat us in pieces. Like,
but in that process, like there's gonna be a fight, and they know that they could lose that fight. They understand that. Like maybe a 16-foot alligator is like, oh, I'm willing to take that risk with this little 6-foot person, and that is something that is a little bit more on the table, but it's so rare. And like even then, it's like they've lived enough. Usually they've been around enough people to just avoid them at all costs. But yeah, it's like they typically like an 8-foot, 9-foot, 10-foot alligator understands that they have to fight with us before they can kill us, and so it's not worth it to them. They go after a raccoon or something that they can close their mouth on and it's done. Like they can't really get out of that. They can't get attacked by that. They're so tough that like a mammal biting them is nothing. In the pit that I work with these alligators, it's breeding season and they're a little bit more confrontational from time to time, and this is the time. And so there'll be little bites here and there. And, in the wild, if those alligators are trying to fight over, breeding rights or territory or anything like that, it would potentially be to the death. And here, these guys are like siblings, but, a toddler, 2 human toddlers fighting with each other, a punch in the arm will make one cry and walk away. One of these guys, the equivalent of that is biting a hole in his back, and not like a hole that like is spilling guts out. It's like they chomp each other, and for us, we're squishy. We would get torn up. They bite each other. A tooth cracks out. Maybe they split a scoot on their back. They both walk away. It's like, okay, whatever. One of them's hurt. One of them goes and cries in the corner, but there's no limbs ripped off. There's no like to the death. It's usually not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's sad. And I guess like I know this conversation originally was talking about like berms, but it's still kind of in the same mindset of like it's simple human understanding that like these things aren't just monsters that want to kill you.
Yeah.
And let's face it, like it's humans' fault that the berms are here anyways.
Yeah.
So how about we do what we can to, I'm not saying preserve them, but like for one, don't be dicks. And two, how about educate yourself a little bit on what's actually happening out there?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know, Sky, I'm sure you have a lot of input on the whole berm thing. You were a contractor for a little while out there.
Well, volunteer under the
Yeah,
contract.
volunteer. Yeah.
But I don't know. What did you guys talk about so far?
We were just kind of the way I asked it was more so like the understanding of like, you know, the general public seems to think that these things are just everywhere in people's backyards. They're going to kill you, kill your dog, and, you know, break into your house and, you know, hurt your family. And a lot of people are under the assumption that they're just going to move up the coast and into Georgia, into South Carolina. And it's like, you know, it's not easy to find these things. I mean, you know, like we talked about, Phil has been there for 30 years and has never seen one. Devin's never seen one. Like,
Oh, you still have never seen one?
I haven't seen a live one yet, not on my own. I've played with a few that somebody else caught, but I haven't been out. I really don't spend enough time in their range. I work 7 days a week, either at the Gator Pit, which is in North Miami, or in the Keys, and so my free time getting into the Glades is limited. But even like I've been out there a couple dozen times and still haven't come across one yet.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that's the reality of the case. Like when I first started going down there, like I was asking like the local trailhead guides and like some of the older campsite security, and all of them thought it was fake news. And these were like old folk Florida natives, and they're like, there ain't no damn berms out here. I ain't never seen one down here. And we're just like, well, dude, we're down here to find them, and our friends find them all the time. And they're like, well, you ain't gonna find them over here. And then it's just like, it's really all just like, you got to be there late at night, or just, you really got to think like a snake. But I mean, it's also, it's 3 counties that they really are in. And it's like, they're barely that when people say they find them in their backyards and stuff, it's like, it's in the small parts of Naples and like Everglades City and shit like that, where it's like your backyard is the Everglades. So yeah, you have a snake in your backyard, you're in the fucking Everglades. And then like over in Homestead, it's the same kind of thing, but it's not anywhere near, like you're saying, like the news makes it out. And even the ones that they do telemetry tracking on, they're not tracking them going just like in a north pattern. Like, I mean, you know Kevin Pavlidis, right? Do you, Devin?
No, I'm not sure.
He worked.
Well, actually, yeah. I know.
He worked with the Gators with Chris before you, but he told me about a lot about the telemetry studies, and it's like these snakes have a real like pattern. Like they'll cover distance. Don't get me wrong, they'll cover some distance, but they're not going straight north, you know, like they're staying within a range inside the Everglades. So it's definitely blown out of proportion for sure. But it's also a lot more rare. Like you got to be out there. You got to know what you're looking for. You got to put in the time. You got to put in the hours. Obviously, you just said you've been there multiple times, and, you know, haven't been able to pull one yourself. So
it's just, I just find it so funny, man. You know, me and Sky did a Glades trip last year, and we did manage to find one small berm. But anybody I told was like, yeah, me and my buddy are going to the Everglades. You know, I was just excited to go to the Glades. I'd never been before. It was an incredible trip, but how many people were like, you better watch out for them damn pythons. He'll kill you, you know? And I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, the odds of us even finding one are slim to none. We got very lucky. I was asleep when we found ours, and it was 3:00 in the morning in the middle of the freaking highway. But, you know, it was just like, it's almost sad the perspective the general public has of these things, you know. And,
on anything, honestly.
Yeah.
Anything that they, you know, anything wild, anything environmental. It's just whatever they hear about, they don't look into it. They feel.
Yeah. I mean, if this person ends up listening to this podcast, I don't know if they listen to it or not, but they messaged me on my Hail the Scales page when I put up a post about the bear hunt that they're trying to propose here in Florida. And I'm like, you know, people don't realize that the bears aren't an issue. They are not in backyards eating dogs. They are not in neighborhoods like they're making out to seem. Like Florida doesn't need a bear hunt. Florida needs more wildlife reserved for the bears because they're so pushed out of their habitat that they have nowhere to go right now. And it's the same thing with the panthers. But they know the panthers are so close to extinction in Florida that they have to just go with the protection route on them. And we still end up killing 90% of the panthers in Florida on the fucking roads. So it's like humans are gonna take all these animals out regardless one way or another. But the false advertisement that goes on in Florida and in the media it's pretty sickening because
it's also just like the false advertisement in reptiles in general.
Yeah.
It's always way blown out of proportion because it's always, ooh, big, scary, scaly, cold-blooded animal, and there's that general, nationwide stigma of snakes being tied to evil and, all snakes are venomous, and they're painted in such a negative light. And I hate that the media blows everything out of proportion when it comes to reptiles. I mean, that's like when they posted about, South Carolina's being overrun by tegus. Jake,
Jesus Christ.
Was there like 3 fucking tegus loose or something?
I think they found something like 17 or so, but
I thought they found them in Georgia.
Adults or sub-adults for the most part. Like 5 or 6 were dead or not doing well. They never found any nest, any sign of any reproductive activity whatsoever. It was literally just like, hey, we found like 13 to 17 escaped pets or released pets. We got a ban.
And that was in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Oh, I know they found some in Georgia, but dude, that's the thing. Like,
I mean, just because they can survive our winters efficiently enough to not die if we have, our normal typical winters, doesn't mean that they're ever going to do well enough to procreate and spread.
Snow on the ground last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we got snow on the ground this year.
Yeah.
What blows my mind is if they're going to do all that and destruction and migration, they've been in Florida just as long as the pythons. Why haven't they migrated anywhere? They're still in the same 3 counties too. And the tegus are even harder and slimmer to find. They're literally like in a small fucking area. And you got to go down like canals and like back in the neighborhoods and shit where you find them. So it's like you're on people's property or you're on like state property to get to them. It's not like what people think. I talked to a trapper and he literally would go out in the middle of the night to set and grab his traps. It's like, it's not what people think.
No, and it's not like that with any of them, like the tegus alike. Like there's no. I'm sorry if somebody found a handful of them here. To me, that sounds more like somebody was transporting a lump sum of them illegally and had
they were all
several
scattered
escapes.
out across the state. Is one thing.
Wow.
A lot of them were scattered. So.
But again, that even tells me even more that those are likely more escapees than anything.
Like if they were breeding, they would be highly concentrated in pockets, not just one here and then one, 200 miles this way. Like, it's unfortunately the result of some irresponsible keepers, turning shit loose. But what you gonna do?
Because unfortunately, tegus were very common pets.
Oh yeah, I mean, I still know people who have them that are grandfathered in. That's how recent this ban was.
Yeah, it was recent. And black and white tegus you could pick up for,
$150 sometimes.
Yeah, $100. Like it was nothing, and I don't know.
Yeah, I used to like the year before they got banned here in Florida. Dude, people were selling them for like fucking $40-$50, bro. Dude, it was wild.
Yeah. Who was it that used to wild collect them and then breed the wild morphs?
I don't know. There was because the big tegu people down here in Florida, the tropical, I think they were like tropical tegus or tropical reptiles. They had like all the fucking tegu morphs, like. They had the tegu game
they
on.
They were selling it for dirt cheap there at the end, just trying to offload everything.
The state was about to exterminate their animals. It was like...
It was horrible, man. I mean...
Yeah. What other questions have you guys got into, though? Have you guys talked about ARC or anything?
Yeah, we talked how Devin got started in ARC. And but real quick, Devin, I did have a quick question. Have you found any tegus down there?
I've seen one inside of it was actually at like another park.
Oh, okay.
The Everglades. What is it? The alligator farm.
Yeah.
It was like inside the gator pit. There was iguanas and tegus all over the place, but there's like hundreds of alligators in a pond, and they're like the rim around it. I saw there was one tegu. That's the only one I've ever seen so far.
That was down near Homestead area?
Yeah, Homestead.
Okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like, dude, it's all, they're not out rampant. It's literally like on private properties or in certain areas. Like,
hey, I also heard tale that there's like sulcatas invasive in like
maybe a couple pets out there, but I don't think they're invasive.
Someone told me they found like sulcatas or something up near what was it, Apalachicola State Forest?
bro, people let them go in the state forest all the time. People have found redfoot tortoises, all kinds of tortoises. It's fucking that, or they just get out of people's backyards too. Like these things, people in Florida love to keep their tortoises in the backyards. I mean, our buddy Billy does it. Thankfully, he's responsible and has a correct built cage for his. But like, people will just let them free roam. They don't realize this thing's a fucking bulldozer. It can break the bottom of your fence if you don't have it fully braced around the bottom. Like, and it could dig.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually found a handful of escaped sulcatas and leopard tortoises and stuff just in my area that I've been like, driving home from work and what the hell? That's, we don't have gopher tortoises where I'm at. You stop and it's an adult leopard. It happens, dude. They really are.
There's sulcatas on the fucking like our town Facebook news page or whatever, where people just love to post everything that happens in their life. The amount of sulcatas and pet tortoises that people find running around in neighborhoods is pretty sad, man.
Yeah.
I think the initial question that kind of got us all on this is other invasives I'm seeing. There's lots of tokays, Cuban nightingales, a couple spots with day geckos, and there's curly-tailed lizards everywhere. There's a handful of rock agamas.
You get the red-headed ones, right? The red-headed agamas?
Red-headed agamas for sure. Those are definitely all in. Well, the agamas are all over the place in Miami. In the Keys, there are a little more spotty. And then there's amoebas. I think I just saw my first amoeba like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, those are pretty sick too, man. The blue and green ones.
Blue and green, and all colorful things.
Yeah.
Cool.
The first invasive I saw
there too. Rainbow agamas, and then there's like two different species of amoeba. There's the one that you saw, and then there's a bigger one that's like black and purplish colored.
So what? The green head amoeba and something?
Yeah, there's a green headed amoeba, and then there's another one. I'd have to go look, but it gets actually pretty big. It looks like a smaller tegu, and it's like a darker bluish, like purple color.
Y'all get Italian wall lizards down there?
Not that I've seen that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It might be too hot for them there.
The only things that I have seen far up in Florida are the iguanas, the curly tails, and the red-headed agamas. And I see those all the way up in like pretty close to Central Florida. I mean,
Cuban tree frogs everywhere.
Oh yeah, the Cubans are all everywhere, man. I mean,
I think up in the Panhandle, there was some mystery. I mean, you got obviously Mediterranean house geckos and stuff. There was some mystery gecko. In my mind, when I saw it, I only had a visual on it for like 2 seconds. It reminded me of a gargoyle gecko, just in somebody's plants out front of their house. Like, there's a chance it could be. I've heard there's tokays up there, and like in certain pockets in cities, and so
there's so many released pets too that I think people just forget that there's probably a lot of one-offs out there just kicking it.
I know someone who found a scrub python in Florida in the wild.
Dude, my girlfriend's coworker just found a fucking bearded dragon outside of her apartment this morning. She texted me, she's like, "Do we have spare cages and stuff that we could lend her?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess." Shit.
Jeez, man.
But it's like, dude, people just fucking get tired of stuff and let it go. It's like, dude, your fucking bearded dragon that's an adult has zero fucking survival instincts. You throw it out there, a cat or a bird's gonna get that fucker too.
Yeah. Devin, you doing all right over there? You look like you're getting tore up, man.
I'm getting tore up, but I'm here for it. I deal with this every night.
Yeah, I hear you.
Where exactly are you at right now?
I'm in Long Keys State Park, middle Keys.
Okay. What do you do down in the Keys?
That's the iguana stuff. I do iguana removal in the Keys and then
Oh,
big parks
okay.
and
So
stuff.
nice, good shit. What are you guys like out on the air? But are you guys out on boats or just strictly on
Nope.
land?
Land. There's some places that I hunt on land that I have to take boats out to, but it's all land stuff.
Are you guys using air rifles or are you using cane poles?
Just air rifles and catching them with my hand.
Nice, good shit. That's cool, man. Yeah, are you guys are getting paid to take them off of properties?
Yeah. It's contract work. I bet if I walk around right now, I could probably find one. I think I'm gonna take you guys with me real quick.
Hell yeah.
In a tree.
From the
Oh,
field.
yeah. And you're
I've
getting-
actually always wanted to do a podcast like this, like from the field. So this is great.
Stories. Let me go to flashlight real quick. I guarantee there's some like right in front of you.
Are the Cuban nidinols pretty thick down there too?
Some spots there's definitely, you know, one of the places I've seen, they're in, you know, every fifth tree probably, but anywhere else not really.
Nice. Yeah, I need to get freaking Jake on that this year. Got to get a big ass fucking anole to bite the shit out of us.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like. I'm good.
It fucking hurts so bad.
I had a night and all for years, and that thing was an asshole. He was so cool, but my God, he was an asshole.
Yeah, they fucking suck.
I'm pretty sure it was like a wild caught from Florida. I bought it for like $25 and it lived for like 6 years.
It was
Jesus.
Yeah, I think their lifespan is like 6 years.
You probably got one of fucking Ron St. Pierre's wild caughts. No,
Probably. It's like I was really on the table and I was like, $25. I got an extra enclosure. Why not? And that thing I was like year 5 hit and I was like, surely it's gonna die. And it just, you know, I mean, I got it as an adult. Thing was a dick. Ugh.
Yeah.
This is the scariest thing in the Keys, by the way. This is a plant called poisonwood, and it's basically a tree of poison ivy.
Go hug it.
No, I already have it on me. That's what I'm more afraid of in Belize. It's just like, what plant is gonna try and kill me down there?
That's what I'm worried about is rubbing up against something and just being miserable for the whole like day or two, like or week.
Yeah, weeks.
Yeah. It's the bugs, it's the flying, stinging stuff, and the plants.
I'm not worried about stings. I'm worried about bites and like parasites and stuff.
Yeah, I would be more worried about parasites than anything.
They say
personally.
for the most part, parasite wise, like the biggest thing is like the bot flies.
Yeah. Well, it's not the worst thing. It's not giving me like life altering diseases or nothing.
No, like I don't think Lyme disease is.
Well, I mean, you can get malaria from some of the mosquitoes, and
That's what I'm saying.
so that's way more worse than a bot fly.
Yeah. So while you're looking around, what's your preferred type of equipment for this stuff? Like, are you like a flashlight brand kind of guy? Do you have like a specific kind of light you like to use or hooks or
I still need
like
to figure stuff out. When I started this, there was a guy, my coworker at the beginning, put me on to Streamlight. He had Streamlights. I have one in the mail right now. It's supposed to be, actually, I think it arrives tomorrow. I used his quite a bit, and it's like a small light. It's got good luminance, and it stays on. On high. It'll stay on for a couple hours, and so I'm gonna go with that. What I have now is something I picked up at Costco. This is not sponsored. This is just an infinity light.
There you go.
No, this thing it's got a USB charger. I can charge it down here with the USB, or I can take the charge core out of it and put batteries in too. So it's multiple. I like that option. The options to be able to do that, but I don't know. I think I don't know. It's heavy as crap, and I don't know. Sometimes it gets annoying. I have a little dive light that I use just as much, and then sometimes I have a GoPro light that I can put on my head and just walk around with. I haven't picked out. I've tried like Danforth headlamps. They worked good when they worked, but then they broke pretty quick. I think Black Diamond's a good one.
If you're looking for a good headlamp, you should check out Coast. I really like my Coast headlamp because it's got the same thing. It has a battery that you can recharge, with a USB thing, or if that dies, it comes with a little cylinder that you can put AAA batteries in, and so you can do either way. And dude, It's been fucking solid.
Dude,
Okay.
Toast
I
actually
get one. I'm not even
Coast
gonna question. I'm just gonna get it.
Do
dude,
it.
Toast
I was gonna say that was just like your setup, Jake, and that was a fucking great all weekend on the one trip we did.
Yeah, dude. I don't think I didn't charge the battery once. I used the shit out of it. Works great. It's a little heavy on your head, I will say, but it's a solid.
Any of the
Like-
good ones are
like-
though, because a lot of
Yeah.
them have either like a big like lamp or they have a big battery pack.
And dude,
so.
that thing is stupid bright. Gabe was walking around with it because his amateur ass didn't bring a flashlight.
Yo, I just left it. I don't know what I was thinking.
But dude, that thing it's got like it's got 4 different modes. There's a high, a medium, and a low. Then it's got like this super mode that will just light up a freaking room if you wanted to. It's pretty gnarly. I love it. I have a headlamp and I have a little handheld, and I swear by those.
They make a waterproof handheld too, Devin, that I use as a dive light for when I'm like
Okay.
snorkeling, and it works great. Like I've gone probably 8 to 9 foot down with it, no issue.
That's the Coast still, or what?
Coast
Okay,
brand,
Coast.
yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, they have a
I'm,
shit ton of different flashlights, but
All right, I'm definitely getting me some then. Probably I need a headlamp and a good handheld for sure.
yeah, they make some smaller ones that I think mine is like it was something stupid like 1200 lumens or something, and it's just like this little flashlight. The power went out. My power went out in my house one day while I was at work, and it was nighttime. My girl was here. She sent me a picture and was like, "Your flashlight's great," and it was my entire house. It looked like the lights were on. And she just had my flashlight sitting in the middle.
That's
Well,
badass.
it works.
I like
Alright.
a broad beam. Yeah, I like it. The,
Yeah, it's
one of the
got
lights
a
I like
broad beam where
it'll shoot. What?
I was just saying it's adjustable, so it can be a really broad beam or it can be more spotlighty.
The dive light I have, and it sucks because I got something like in the spur of the moment because I needed to be able to dive with it, but it's like such a narrow beam, even underwater. If I'm like looking at stuff, I have to point it exactly where I want to see. There's like no broad visual, so it's good for like looking across the field. But if I'm trying to do anything up close,
Devin, I got a question for you about your field gear. Since you're out like in the glades and like in all these wet, swampy or marshy habitats all the time, like what is your typical field attire to prep for being in wet, muggy ass weather and like wet areas all day?
shorts and barefoot. I'm barefoot right now, Gabe.
Okay,
I don't do field.
I fucking knew it, man. Shorts and flip flops or barefoot.
The shorts is a rare thing. I was getting in the water today, and so I have shorts on. I almost always have pants on, but I've gotten to the point where if I put shoes or socks on, it doesn't matter how hot it is. My feet will sweat now. Like shoes are uncomfortable for me, which kind of sucks because I'm not going barefoot in Belize just because of what it's unfamiliar territory.
No. Yeah, hell no. No.
You telling me you don't want to get bit on the pinky toe by a fertilance?
I was about to say, you don't want a fertilance fight, like, and become a real indigenous person of the land.
If I intend on staying there, I'll go through the rituals, but I think I got to get back to the States.
Just throw a water jug on your head and go barefoot into the fertilance mouth.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, Devin, are you flying out of Miami?
Yeah, we might all have the same flights.
Huh?
We might all have the same flight. I think we have the same back, and I think we have the same flights.
I was thinking we might have had the same flights. Yeah.
Where are you flying out of, Gabe?
Charleston to Miami.
Okay.
Miami over. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How long are you guys going to be there?
9 days.
What's the biggest target, or what's the goal? What's the targets while you're out there?
Yeah, Devin, what's your targets, man?
Everything, dude.
Yeah.
Everything's new, so there's nothing that I need to be like, oh, this is more. I want to see this more than anything. I'm excited to see everything because everything is brand new.
I just got told that the Mexican burrowing toads are breeding in the pond outside of where we're staying, Devin. So we're gonna get some Mexican burrowing toads right off the rip.
It sounds like Devin's main goal is don't die.
Make sure you take an absolute ass ton of pictures, so when you get back, we can do a rundown, and maybe we'll get Devin back on again.
I'm going there with 2 iPhones a GoPro, an Insta360 that just came in the mail yesterday, and a drone.
Nice.
So I'm gonna be running everything.
Good
Hell
shit.
I don't know. Haven't seen an iguana yet.
Sounds
but
like
no,
you're not
I'm
very
getting-
good at your job, Devin.
No, I'm really good at my job. I've taken every iguana out of this park already.
I was about to say, or you just took them all out.
Are you near any of the American crocodiles, or is that further up from where you're at?
They'll come through every once in a while, but I don't think I'm gonna. I worked here for like 4 months before I even saw one in the Keys, and then when I did, it was like 2 in the same week. But they
heard
come
that
down
it's
here.
like-
There's a state park below me that I can find them in.
Okay, yeah, I heard that the Keys were spotty, like that they would bounce around from island to island from time to time, but it was mainly up to
We're gonna get a
bottom of the.
we're gonna
state.
get a weird catch right here if I can do this. He's actually
he's gonna-
in the building, kind of.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, if I can get the light to stay, you're gonna see something kind of crazy. Okay, so there's one up here. Unfortunately, the top of this fence is sharp.
This is
Good thing you're
awesome.
barefoot, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hell yeah, man.
and it's a little guy.
All right, this one. There's another one over here. I gotta go see what I can do about.
You have to put that one in your mouth while you catch the other one.
hang it off of your ear.
Yeah, they're not that cool.
Oh no!
Oh, he jumped out! Oh shit! That thing shot out so quick.
Oh, he said no.
Oh, he got it!
Oh my god!
Hold
What
on, let's see what we can do.
do.
He's
Let's see what we can
professional.
do real quick. Okay, you can see up here. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is crazy.
this is great.
Oh,
I can
that-
still see him at the
You
bottom.
can still see. We're good.
Oh, he got it!
God. Oh, that's a bigger one. Oh,
Oh, no.
man!
There's another one
Oh,
hiding
wow.
Round of
somewhere up there.
applause.
Round of applause, man.
Thank you, thank
oh
you,
my
thank you.
god!
That's what they call an all-American twofer, people. You throw it in your pocket and you get the other one.
That's right. Is that in
So
a
there's
block?
one more up there, but I don't.
Oh
He's
my
awake
God.
now. I'm not gonna mess with that one, but we got this guy.
Hell yeah.
Dang,
Devin, how many
man.
times have you put one in your pocket and had it just latch on?
They don't
Oh,
bite. 'cause-
God.
Well, I mean, the babies don't bite, and it's nighttime, and so they just like want to be sleeping right now, and so that's why I walked up to this guy. If it was daytime, they wouldn't let me do anything. But they haven't been
Isn't
bit by
it
one
weird
yet.
that
Like a
once
real,
you grab
a
it,
real
they just
bite.
go fucking limp?
So
That was the bite.
so you said you did a lot of your iguana hunting during the day, right?
If I want to be successful and not, I got smacked in the face. The pellet gun is better for the day. If I just like doing this, which I like doing this more than the pellet gun, then I'll just go out at night because you can just walk up to them and grab them. But if they
Jeez,
see you, the one place there, so there's an island that I work on that when I first started, and let's say it was like February, when I'd go out there, there's like a couple hiking paths you can walk down. I could walk down the path and there'd be an iguana sitting in a bush, right next to the path. And if I just kept walking, or if I stopped and looked at it, it'd sit there, it wouldn't care at all. Now, after going out there, every week now, for the last 6 months, as soon as the kayak hits that land, as soon as they see me, as soon as they hear me, as soon as they smell me, maybe they hear the pellet gun, I don't know. They do not let me even see them anymore. So I have to sit around for a while and sneak up on them. And I got to do, they're smart. They've learned to avoid me at all costs.
You got to just cover your body in lettuce.
And
Lay there.
Lettuce, yeah, that's what they want.
Like
In a
Arnold
field of grass, they
Schwarzenegger
want
in
lettuce.
Predator
Yeah.
on the mud and
good,
just
good old iceberg lettuce, baby.
Yeah.
That grass
If worse
ain't
comes to
nothing.
worse, it's good.
You're on the
OnlyFans.
right path, Gabe, but I'm thinking more maybe fruit would be a little more enticing.
yeah,
Yeah.
Just go steal a bunch of hibiscus off of some
There
rich
you go.
person's yard.
There we go. Instead
Get
of
some
blaming the iguana for
strawberry
the damage, just
cologne.
blame me for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
We got rid of all the iguanas, but the iguana hunter's out here naked with hibiscus all over him.
Dude, I'll take it. You gotta make a name for yourself.
That's
Hey,
right. That's right.
legends never die.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
All right, Devin. So, what would you say one of your craziest herping adventures in Florida has been for the season of 2025 so far?
2025.
Like not even just crazy, but something just remarkable, right? Like your find of the year so far.
Find of the year so far. You asked about Florida. I'd say the last 2 weeks have kind of had the most remarkable stuff, and that was just driving all over the East Coast. As much as like I'm doing crazy shit in Florida, it's not. It's always the same thing, and so it's always iguanas and gators, iguanas and gators. I haven't done anything else in Florida. I'd say what I did over the last 2 weeks, like I said, I went up north to try and get my annual hellbender. You know, I've been working with them since 2018, and took a few. I mean, I haven't worked with them since 2022, 2021 officially, and so I like to go and at least get a look at them once every year if I can. I think I missed 1 year so far, unfortunately, but I went back up north to see family, to see my hellbenders, and to see whatever else I can get myself into. And I got myself into wood turtles and hellbenders, and my life for queen snake, and my life for bird voice tree frogs, and so a whole lot of things just kind of piled up into like 2 weeks, and so that was a lot of excitement. Like I said, just this last 2 weeks.
Did you say you got your lifer queen snake?
I did.
Look at
Me
you
and
guys.
Gabe.
Somebody-
Just
I
got our
stepped-
queen.
Did
We
we? There we
literally
go.
just
That's
got our
awesome.
lifer queen snakes like what, 2-3 weeks ago?
It's been a little longer than that
Yeah.
now.
Shoot, probably about a month and a half.
Yeah, it's been a little bit now, but me and Gabe actually spotted our lifer queen simultaneously.
Oh.
We're holding hands.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think I stepped over my queen, and the person I was with, it responded to me, stepping over it. It started swarming. He's like, dude, there's a snake. I was like, oh, cool. I was like, oh shit, it's a queen. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
fuck yeah. Dude, the hellbenders. So what did you guys already talk about this?
Not a lot.
A little bit. I worked with them for every summer for like 4 years, 5 years, something like that. But the one I got this year, the couple I got this year, I had only ever seen them in Pennsylvania and New York up until, like I said, like 2 weeks ago. I went up visited family in Pennsylvania. I stopped in South Carolina, went up to Pennsylvania. On my way back down, stopped in North Carolina, met up with people from social media. Blaze Bird. I don't know if you guys probably know the name. And then stopped with Ryan Burris, who I know at least Gabe from, he used to live in Charleston. He got me into fossil hunting. He lives in by Asheville. So I stopped out there, and I was like, Asheville's got like one of the only diurnal populations of hellbenders, I think, known. And so I was like, if I'm stopping over there to see him, I'm gonna go see some hellbenders. And so we jumped in the water, super cold. I had a crappy wetsuit on, and it kept me warm enough. But I got in, and we're just like peeking in the cracks, and I think we got probably at least half a dozen. But the coolest one, the only one that wasn't in a crack, it was just sitting out, was directly under a huge waterfall. And so you like poke your head up, and you're just like watching this water come down, and you go underwater, and there's this hellbender with his back covered in silt, just kind of sitting there, getting everything blown over him. So that was super cool.
That's fucking awesome, man.
I still need to find one.
I'd say that's like a huge lifer for me. That once man, I'll fucking cry when I find a hellbender.
They're very incredible creatures for sure. That's like the one species that I want to see every year, like as much as I can.
Oh yeah, that's definitely one that would be.
We've talked about it. I mean, we've talked
Yeah.
about the Tennessee trip to go see green manders and some hellbenders. So,
Dude, there's still so many trips that we have
We
talked
still need to go
about.
upstate, get milk snakes.
Yeah, we got to go to upstate to get milks, and and mulkings. I got to go back to sky and find tiger salamanders, and we got to find hellbenders. And
Oh yeah.
it never stops, dude. Like,
Jake, you ain't got to go as far as Sky to find tigers.
I don't know where to find tigers, dude. That's an uphill battle for me. I'll hit you up.
I'd probably be able to find tigers by you easier.
Who, me? No.
Central South
No?
Carolina, North Florida has a lot of tigers.
They're pretty damn rare, with the exception of like a couple areas.
Well, that's how it is out here, then, too.
Yeah.
I mean, North Florida, you get
Yeah,
a
but
little
like
bit
there's
there.
a couple places in South Carolina, like where they're at, they're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Scott says we need to come to Australia too, and that's yeah. If I don't,
shit. That's
Dude,
a one-way
I told
ticket,
you,
brother.
if my friend, if Australia moves back next year, I'm gonna go crash with her next year and like go fly to Australia. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
Dude, that's my friend Eva, her and her boyfriend, they're moving out to Australia in like 10
what
months.
would be the odds if all of us have people we know moving to Australia next year and they all end up living like a neighborhood apart or something?
And then we
I'll be your connection to Australia. I'll be the one moving out there next, and you guys can all just come visit me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, honestly, I'm sorry to all of you, but I'm going to go see Scott Eiper. So I don't really care who you know who's moving out there. I'm going to go hang out with
we're
Scott.
going to be living in his backyard for the first 6 months.
Yeah. He says they've got spicy tigers there, and I would love to see a spicy tiger in Australia.
I'd love to see any reptile in Australia.
Honestly, yeah.
Being in the bush would be just magical.
Yeah.
I just want to be out there with a little freaking cutout of fabric.
Little loincloth
area, just barefoot, just out there straight. They won't even know I'm American. They'll just be like, holy crap. It's a bushwhacker, mate.
No, they're going to get one look at you and be like, this fucking guy is not from here.
No, the crazier the better out there. The crazier, the more normal. So
make sure you got a mullet before you go.
Make sure what?
Got a mullet before you go. A good,
yeah. I'm already prepping.
Oh, dude, I'm already working the mullet right now. Like I did a short one last time, but now it's grown out in the back. I'm gonna trim up the sides.
If you're barefoot, crispy mullet, and just off got a couple of fucking loose screws, you're fucking in.
Crispy mullet. I love that. That's so funny. Well, before we wrap all this up, do we have any final closing remarks or questions for Devin?
I mean, other than I need to get down and fucking do some herping with Devin, or come see him at the Everglades Park.
Come see me somewhere. If I get an excuse, when you get an excuse to go herping, I'll go herping. But right now, it's like I work 7 days a week, and one of those days overlaps where I do both jobs. So
I feel you that, dog.
Busy schedule for now. I'm gonna try and loosen it up here soon, but there's a lot
of
movement.
What days do you work at the Everglades Park?
Usually Saturday, Sunday. I just kind of got Monday, but this week coming up, I'm doing Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm also working in the Keys, so I gotta do my gator wrestling at the park until 5:30, and then drive to the Keys and hunt for 6 hours, then drive back to the Gator Park to work there from about 9 to 5:30, and back to the Keys and back to the park and back to it's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
Okay.
But well, I guess my last question is like, I don't know, man, like the whole like gator wrestling thing, like what's it like doing that? Like is that all you do all day, every day there is do gator shows?
Well, you gotta clean pits and shit, right?
The what?
Do you have to clean pits and stuff?
Yeah, but that's the first thing you do when you get there is every day the water drains. Somebody comes in before I show up and drains the pit, and so I just go in there, sweep all the dirt into the corner. You know, if it can be drained through the drain in the pit. It separates the sand out, so you can. It's pretty simple. It's just sweeping. It's just sweeping everything into the right spot. Nice. And so the maintenance doesn't, you know, it doesn't take much. And so that's the morning. I get there, do that, and then just sit around and wait for the first show to start. And that sometimes doesn't start till like 10:30 or so. And so do about 15 shows a day. We have 15 alligators in the pit. You know, theoretically, it's one gator a show every day, but sometimes, you know, some of them are just mascots. They're just in there to sit around. We don't really do shows. We have one gator that has basically is blind in both eyes, has a permanently broken back leg, is missing part of his tail, and we say he has a severe case of halitosis. But he's just a goofy gator that sits in there, and he wouldn't look good, you know, doing a show with and then getting off of him and watching him like hobble back to the water all awkwardly. So he just sits there, and he's our old man, retarded alligator. He's our definitely our handicap alligator.
There you go.
So
He's just a good boy. He does his best.
He was one of my favorites because I would go and help him move around and stuff. I'd, you know, clean him up, and he would be sitting in the corner, kind of like I said, he can't really do much. And so I'd pick him up and put him up on land. I think the way the pit works is you have pit on one side, pit on two sides, and then there's land with the sand all around it. And so I'd pick him up, put him on pretty much put him on the ledge, clean out the pit, and then if he wanted to go back in, the water would be full enough, he can kind of just pop in. But
do you know how old he is, or roughly?
He's not the oldest one in the pit. He's goofy and old for sure. Like the way you look at him, you can see this age in him. Our oldest gator in the pit is probably 60, maybe even 70. Debo, he's really cool. He's our dominant male. And he actually kind of keeps everybody else in line, but like in a really gentle way. If somebody else starts bellowing or somebody else, like, you know, there's little fights that break out, but if any other alligator tries to like establish dominance or just like bellows out of nowhere, and most of them will bellow, but if Debo's around, he'll come up to them with his mouth open and just kind of push, like bulldoze them around, and they get super scared real quick. He doesn't actually like chomp them. He just opens his mouth and pushes on them, and they turn off quick.
Yeah, that's cool.
He's about 10 foot long, about probably just under 400 pounds. Not nearly as big as an alligator can get, but he's, you know, huge for our pit. His head is probably bigger than like an average 14-foot alligator's head. It's like super thick, super tall. And that's the way their heads can grow, their body can grow long a lot quicker than they grow tall. So you can kind of start to tell age of an alligator by that. You know, the taller its head, the more they look worn out, the older they probably are.
It was crazy, man. I was in the Everglades maybe like a month ago now, maybe like a month and a half ago. And I didn't realize how dry it was out there. And one of my buddies I was with was from Canada, and he just wanted to see some gators. So I took him to this one spot where I knew there'd be some gators. And the water was literally just one little puddle, and there was probably 30 gators all just stacked on each other in this little fucking puddle. But there was 11 footers, dude, just chilling in there. Just, I mean, all of them just tail on head, head on tail, stacked on each other, and just trying to get a little bit of moisture. It was fucking wild. But seeing that many big ass gators in one spot was fucking wild, and they were all just chilling there. It was like, all right, whatever. We're all fucked up now.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of things that go into like what can constitute like territorial behavior. People are always like, oh, is that pit big enough? They're in there suffering. It's like, well, if these were mammals, like, yeah, they might be like, you know, they get bored, they need enrichment and stuff like that. But you guys know, reptiles, their brains aren't quite the same as ours. They don't really get bored the same way we do. Alligators up north, especially in the winter, you know, they might be sitting in their little hole, and because they don't sleep, they have unihemispheric, you know, thoughts or brain activity. One side of the brain is always on. They're just sitting in a tube underwater in the mud, looking at mud for like how many months while they're brumating. They do that on their own.
Well,
they for us to have them in a pit.
Once it gets to a certain temp for a certain amount of time, like they almost go into like a catatonic state. They drop their heart rate so low and start cutting.
Yeah, like fucking 4 beats on an hour or something.
Blood flow to
but they're still technically awake through that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so, I mean, but again, so it's like it's like the boredom thing doesn't really apply, but they always ask like territorial, why are they piled up on top of each other and things like that. It's like, well, alligators typically are only, territorial over resources. You go to a place like that, or a place where, if there's a huge pond and there's thousands and thousands of fish in there, you can have a lot of alligators in there, and they're not going to care about each other because there's enough food for them. But if there's one alligator in a big pit with like very limited resources, he's going to want to, be a little bit more like, this is my area. Everybody else needs to stay out because, I need these fish, kind of thing. We feed our gators once a week, chicken breast, or chicken, legs and stuff like that. And that's, if you look at the tail, which the tail really tells like the health of the alligator, at least in terms of like how well they're eating. If you look at the tail of our alligators versus the tail of most of the alligators in the glades, they're thick. They're not overweight, but they're definitely thicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a skinny gator there on any of the videos I've seen posted.
No.
Trust me,
He said they eat. I gotta feed their asses.
Cool, man. Well, we're gonna wrap this one up. I'm gonna throw you backstage. You're welcome. I know you're busy and getting tore up by mosquitoes, so if you want to dip out, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, you can hang out, and then we're gonna wrap up with Sky, and we talk to you afterwards. Or if you gotta go, I know you're busy. You're more than welcome.
I'll be here, and I'll just watch the show so you guys wrap up, and I'll be here.
All right, cool, man. Well, I'm gonna throw you backstage, and we certainly appreciate you coming on and chatting with us, man.
Appreciate you having me.
Thanks, man.
Cool. See ya.
Yeah.
Later, man.
All right. Well, this has been episode 29. Big thanks to Devin and taking us on a little adventure there, catching some iguanas.
That was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I know it's kind of one of those things for herpers. It's, his job is it's a hard job to have for somebody that loves it, but he's definitely doing a good thing. So I would push everybody if any of that conversation bothered you to keep an open mind as to with what he does. It's like I'm thankful that there's somebody who actually cares doing this stuff.
Yeah, you'd rather have somebody like Devin doing it or someone like us or with our mindset, because there's people out there that just want to senselessly kill these things, or everyone hears the word invasive around an animal.
Right.
As soon as they hear that, they think, oh, I'm going to senselessly kill this thing because it has no fucking purpose because you just said it's invasive. No. It's a fucking animal. It's a life. It's you got to give it respect. It's only invasive because we made it invasive. Right. We're the biggest invasive species here. So who the hell are we to say something else is invasive? For crying out loud. It fucking cracks me up.
I think the thing that
they want to be so entitled and we own this land. This is my land.
Understanding it's still a life, and you should still have compassion for that animal, even though you have to remove it from the wild and put it down. It's better than the guys that go out there and gut shoot them and let them walk off and slowly die for
right.
It's
for me
the animal's life.
Two things to say on it from my perspective. For one, when Florida basically made open season on iguanas, there were people doing severely fucked up things to these iguanas, and that's just not okay. I saw something about somebody like got a bunch of them were dragging them behind a truck and stuff, and like just torturing these
people
things.
Literally torture them for content.
Yeah, it was horrible. But the other part to it that I think about is like Florida made open season on iguanas and people got really messed up with it. But imagine if that was cats, which are a much bigger problem in the entire U.S.
You'd have
Australia's level with cats.
Yeah,
I mean, Scott over there where Scott's at, like they're on it. Like they're
killing them for
fun. It is a problem. Here, everyone's like, oh, they're cute and cuddly. Why do I don't want to kill that? And it's like, well, you'll kill every snake you see, but you can't kill this cat that's
the
invasive thing here.
That's what's messed up is like iguanas became a problem in Florida. Then it was open season, kill them however you can. But feral cats in all of America have been an issue for so long.
Hundreds of years.
But it's, catch them and neuter them and release them. Like what? That's our, but people are dragging iguanas behind trucks, like, and that's okay because it's a reptile.
Dude,
and not a cute and fuzzy cat that does just as much, if not more damage, especially to local wildlife. Like that's where we're at now. Like
you can catch a charge for animal cruelty for eliminating a feral cat here in South Carolina, but you can go chop a native snake's head off and not a damn thing's done. Like how that's ass backwards, if you ask me. That's,
dude, it's like, yeah, it's fine to hurt native wildlife, but you'll catch a charge for killing this invasive, cute, fluffy.
That's where
animal.
Australians got their shit in line, man.
Yeah. Even Scott says cats are so much worse here. Your natives have the tools to avoid cats due to them being native. And I mean, yeah,
to an extent.
Yeah.
You know, some of the natives.
Yeah, our cats here, dude, are, I mean, it's so bad, man.
There's so many of them, dude.
There's so many, and they kill so many things. He says we have no predators like cats here.
Oh yeah.
No, like we do have a lot of things that also take out cats, like, and we have native, bobcats and stuff.
Hey, this is one reason I love the fact that we have coyotes now, is because they eat a ton of feral cats.
Yeah,
I love it.
I promise you, if I was allowed to, my 22 would eat a lot of cats too.
You're allowed. I'm giving you permission.
Yeah. I hate it, man. Like it's
don't
such
forget them cougars, mate. We got a hell of a lot of cougars. You're talking about pumas, but I'm talking about cougars. Just bit over 50, rack like a fucking chimpanzee. Yes, sir.
Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's just such a double-edged sword when it comes to invasives. Like if it's reptiles, like it's kill them all as fast and however you can. When it's cute and fluffy, like, neuter it and let it go. Like my thing is, like, people literally trap these things, bring them to a shelter to get neutered, and then let them back go. Are you kidding? Are you kidding me, dude?
5 to 10 years causing 5 to 10 years of destruction.
Just because it's not reproducing doesn't mean it's still not causing an issue. Me and my mom actually had a conversation about this the other night. She was like, so, like, what's your solution to all the feral cats? I said, Ma, like, you don't want to hear my answer. Like, it's just take them out.
Also,
take them out.
Like carriers, they'll transfer paramyxo through their urine to deer and other large mammal species. And they can transfer that shit to kids by pooping in kids' sandboxes. Like they carry so many, they're vectors for so many other transferable diseases and parasites. And everyone's like, oh, but it's my cute little fluffy kitten. It's like, yeah, it's a little toxic killing machine.
And aside from that, they're giving my dog fucking fleas.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Just him going outside, he'll get fleas from all the cats in my yard. Like, oh my God. Either way, like, this is a total side tangent, but it's frustrating. And then, like, I don't know, man. It's all sucky. But at the end of the day, I'm really glad to have somebody like Devin, helping take care of, some of the invasive species over in Florida. So, Devin, we certainly appreciate everything you are doing to help Florida and the hobby as a whole. But Sky, you have any updates for us? Anything going on herping wise, or just been busy with other life?
Yeah, I mean, since the last time we had an episode, I haven't really been out, honestly.
Same.
I guess this kind of could tie into everything we've just talked about in the last 3 minutes, but I did we've been getting some good rain, so it's finally starting to get wet out here. And I had some time the other night, so I was like, all right, well, I'll go cruise through the forest. I shit you not, dude. I got 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes into the forest, and there was one car in front of me. And I mean, like, they were a little bit far in front of me, but not too far. I could see their tail lights still pretty good. And I saw them hit the brakes for a second and they kept going. And then sure as shit, I come up on a fucking clipped baby raccoon.
Oh,
3 minutes into my fucking cruise. And I'm like, so I get out and I'm like checking it out and I'm inspecting it. And he was still coherent and alive. And he had a broken arm. And as I'm sitting there checking out, a guy rolls up on a motorcycle and he's like, I like flash him with my flashlight to let him know I'm in the road. And he pulls up and he's like, what? Oh, you all right? I'm like, yeah, man. And he sees the coon and he's like, is that what you stopped for? And I was like, yeah, man, the car in front of me hit. And he's like, you stopped for that? And I was like, yeah, bro, it's a baby coon and it just got clipped by the car in front of me. He's still alive. It's obviously sitting there struggling. And he's like, oh, man. Well, you're a better man than me. He's like, I wouldn't have even stopped. I was like, well, that's kind of the issue with the world, isn't it? And he just laughed. And I was like, I know it's a freaking
not very funny.
It's still suffering. And he's like, and then like the coon tried to like hobble a little bit. And I was like, look, man, you'd really be able to ride away from that. I'm like, dude, that thing's hurting. I was like, I just can't watch something hurt like that. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, at first, I was like, man, I didn't think it was going to have any hopes. I was like, you don't have anything with you? I was like, you have a pistol, you have a knife? And he's like, no, I don't got nothing. I was like, man, I'm not going to leave this thing here miserable and, suffering. And he rode off. And then sure as shit, I ended up taking it to the vet. But it's just like nobody gives a shit, dude, especially about our native wildlife. And 10 minutes up the road after that baby that I saved, there was one freshly hit that was cooked that I moved off the road. So it's like, did I have a fun night herping? Fuck no. Fuck no. But I did get I got a little racer at work the other day. That was pretty cool just to see some snakes near the fucking workplace. But I'm hoping to get out soon. It's hot as fuck here, man.
Dude, yeah, it's like we didn't really get an in between. It just went from like pretty cold to like stupid hot.
It went from like nice weather to like you're in a sauna now, like you're walking in hot soup.
Dude, when I get to work and get in the building, the air is so thick that everyone gets in and rushes to open all the doors because it's like you're like breathing in fucking Vaseline.
I don't have AC in my car right now, so I'm like roughing.
Oh God,
it's gonna be.
You need to get a new car, Gabe. Like I'm sorry, buddy. It's gonna get time.
Me to the end of this year, and then I'm getting a new one. Okay, we're pushing it. Next week's gonna be 100 degrees, and I'm like, I hope I don't have a heat stroke before I get to my house.
Bro, get you one of those little lighter plug-in fans and throw it on your dash at least.
I need to, man. It's like, yeah, that's an hour drive at 100 degrees.
Yeah. Well, for me, I haven't done any herping, but me and Sky have officially made a plan to link up It's the weekend after the 4th of July. We're gonna go hang out, and it's been far too long since me and Sky have gotten to herp his neck of the woods. It's so funny. Like last year, I feel like me and Sky saw each other so much, and we herped like crazy last year. This year, it's been Jack. Jack's been herping like crazy with us this year.
Jack's been killing it, man.
Yeah, Jack's been killing it. But I'm super stoked to get back down to Florida and put in some time. It's gonna be a bad month for herping, but I'm just excited to get back down there and hang out with my boy.
We'll be doing some morning and nighttime shit, but it'll be cool. We'll be chilling. We'll be vibing.
This is more of a I just need to go see Sky trip, and we're gonna herp as we can. But I'm looking forward to just hanging out for sure. But Scott says fan and spray bottle, Gabe.
He'll be looking sexy.
I'm gonna steal all the freezy packs out the freezer from work and just strap them to my body while I drive home.
There you go. Keep you nice and cool. All right. Well, cool. Well, this has been episode 29 of Flippin' 10. Thank you everybody that tuned in for the live show and came into the chat. Scott, you've been blowing it up. I appreciate it, man. We were getting a little dead in the chat, so I love the commentary. If you haven't checked out Scott's episode of Flippin' 10, that was awesome. Definitely go check it out. That was fantastic. That's a Scott Eiper with Nature For You. If you don't know him, you living in a hole and you need to figure it out. But go listen to that episode. Listen to all the episodes of Flippin' 10 we've done. It's been a great series so far, and we've got a lot of cool stuff still lined up for the future. So stay tuned and make sure to check out the live streams. They're every other Thursday. At least we try to be whenever schedules line up. So come hang out for the live, hang out in the chat, and keep the write-ins coming, please. Everybody's been doing awesome. The write-ins have really picked up recently with the herping season being long underway. So we appreciate everybody and the support and the write-ins, and keep them coming, and happy herping.
Hell yeah.
All right. We will see y'all next time.